Hey there, have you ever thought about the story of Christopher Columbus and how he is said to have found America? Many times we've heard this story, but what if we told you there's more to it than meets the eye? Join us in this video as we explore the unexplored waters of history. Was Columbus really the first person to find land on the other side of the ocean? What mysteries does this journey hold, and what other myths are just waiting to be found? Get ready, guys, and let's go on this historical journey. Christopher Columbus, the first European to set foot on American soil, was not actually the first person to sail across the Atlantic from the Old World to find the New World. The Spanish royal family paid for this project to find a sea route to the east so they could keep trading with other countries. After the Ottomans took over Constantinople, it became too dangerous to use the Silk Road, so Spain needed a new way to trade and obtain goods like silk, spices, and ceramics. After years of planning and thinking, Columbus set sail on August 3, 1492, from the Spanish port of Paz to La Frontera with 3 ships. They stopped at the Canary Islands, which were ruled by Spain. The small fleet set sail across the Atlantic Ocean to the west, and they were at sea for 5 weeks before getting to land on October 12. Before that, Columbus thought he had found some islands off the coast of Asia, but actually arrived in the Caribbean. He met the native people who lived on the islands, such as the Auk people, and noticed that some of them wore gold jewelry. After making his last landing on Hispaniola, an island split into Haiti and the Dominican Republic, the sailors swiftly went on to explore other Caribbean islands and capture prisoners. Columbus decided it was time to go back to Spain, but one of his 3 ships had sunk in the Caribbean. Despite the hard trip, the explorer made it from Paz to La Frontera on March 15, 1493. During Columbus' time, there was a strong desire to settle down in new areas, and later Isabella and King Ferdinand II would have been arrested for their continued abuse of power. Columbus Day is celebrated in some parts of the U.S. and other places every October, but many historians now believe that Leif Erikson, a real Viking, was the first man to lead an expedition to the New World from the Old World. Erikson, born in Iceland between 970 and 980, was the first European to discover the Americas. He died between 1018 and 1025, at around 74 years old. Erikson's father, Chris the Red, and his mother, Johold, had moved to Iceland for various reasons, including killing a man. Erik was sent into exile due to brutal killings, and may have been motivated by stories his father told him about strange places. 2 Norse sagas, the Saga of Erik the Red and the Saga of the Greenlanders, tell the story of Erikson's trip to what the Norse called Vinland, which is now Canada, around 1000 AD. However, both sagas sometimes contradict each other. The other story says Erikson knew exactly where he was going because he had heard stories about unknown lands from a man named Billy Jolson. He was blown off course and ended up going back to Norway. Erikson did land on Vinland, which was given the name Helland, which means stone slab land in English. Modern scholars think this place might be Baffin Island, which is in the Philippines. The Vikings then went south until they reached what was possibly Newfoundland. They set up camp and got ready for winter, impressed by the abundance of food in the new area, especially the grapes grown there. They thought this place should be called Vinland, which means wineland. Ari the Wise wrote an account of the country called the Book of the Icelanders between 1122 and 1133. Erikson did not make as many trips to Vinland as Columbus did, and 1,000 years after his return to Greenland, he spent the winter there and then sailed for him. When Erik the Red's father died, he took over as leader of the Greenland settlement. He never saw Canada again, but other Norse people traveled there for about 10 years. Some historians think that the Norsemen and the Native Americans may have been at odds with each other, which may have stopped organized settlement. The story of Erikson's discovery of North America is often based on sagas, which were written hundreds of years after the event, and are not always reliable. However, There is evidence that the Vikings found Vinland and lived there for a while. Archaeologists along the beaches of Canada, such as Hell and Anne, made an amazing discovery in 1960 that connected a Viking village to Leif Erikson. This discovery shows that the Vikings came to Canada and may have lived there for a while, about 500 years before Christopher Columbus' travels. While Columbus did make some amazing trips to the Americas, he was not the first European to land in North America. He did pave the way for other Europeans, first the Spanish and then others, to settle there. Columbus was born in Genoa, Italy, in 1451, and his father, Domenico, was a successful cloth merchant who dealt in woven goods. His mother was Susanna Fontanrosa, and he had 3 brothers and 1 sister. Columbus was born in Genoa, Italy, in 1451. He was born to a successful cloth merchant and a mother who ran a cheese stand. He spoke the Joss dialect of Lurin as his first tongue. He first went to Sia when he was 10 years old and later moved to Siona in 1470. He sailed on a Janos ship with the help of René Anu, a French prince with many royal titles during his life. In 1476, Columbus went with a trade group that brought goods to northern Europe, stopping in England and Ireland. In 1492, Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand agreed to pay for Columbus' trip, and the capitulations of Santa Fe gave him everything he wanted. In exchange for his services, Columbus would become governor of any new lands he found and receive 10% of all money made for the Spanish crown if his exploration trip was successful. Columbus went across the Atlantic 4 times, visiting the Caribbean and mainland South America on his 3rd trip in 1498 and Panama on his 4th trip in 1502. The person who found the Americas died in 1506 at the age of 55. This is it for today. We hope you enjoyed the video. If so, then share your thoughts in the comments and also share this video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you can never miss our video.